I'm going to be ranking the best center cards right now in NBA 2K23 My Team. We have a tier list here ranking from S that goes all the way down to D tier, and we have about 25 to 30 of the best center cards in the game right now. But guys, let me know in the comment section down below, who are some of your guys' favorite centers to be running right now in my team, and of course, let me know what you guys would change about my tier list. But first center here is not really going to be a center, but I wanted to include him because I know a lot of people do view him as a center if they are running a little bit of small ball, or maybe even next to Taco Fall at their center position. So I feel like Jokic is probably going to be in B tier. He's not a bad center card. Yes, he's a lot better at power forward, and that's why I'd recommend playing him, because he's only 6 foot. Is he 6'10" or 6'11" in my team? He's 6'11", so his height and wingspan isn't that bad, but his defensive stats really aren't going to be the greatest for the power forward position. And overall, I think he's going to get mashed by like the Yao Mings and those taller centers. So I would say if you guys want to run Jokic, I play my power forward, but I do think at the center position is still probably somewhere in B tier. Now, Boban is a really hard card to rank because he is so dominant in the fact that he's 7'4", has a great player build, and he's one of the best matchers in the game. But he has 25 speed and 25 acceleration. So how high can he actually go on this list? So let me know where you guys would personally put Boban. I think I'll go C tier just because of his mashing ability, but I just don't know if you can run a card in the game now that only has 25 speed and 25 acceleration. Maybe earlier in the year, if you guys remember, a lot of people were running Sabonis and Big Z. These were some of the best centers in the game, but they did have 46 speed. But I mean, even those cards are like 20 speed more than this Diamond Boban card all the way in March, almost April. So not exactly sure if you can even put Boban in C tier, but I think for now he will be in the C tier category. Dark Matter Greg Oden, I think, is one of the more underrated centers in the game. He just has a great player build, plays great defense, rebounds the ball. He does everything you want your center to do, and then he does have a very capable jump shot. Galaxy Super Chet, I feel like, is on that same tier as Jokic. Chet, I think, is actually better at the center position just because of his player build, his wingspan, because he's really not that fast of a card. Like, Jokic just got 90 speed, which is nice enough to run at the power forward spot. He's only got 86 speed, 86 acceleration, which isn't slow by any means, but it's a little bit slow for the power forward position. He's 7 foot though, with a 7'6" wingspan. He doesn't have the best player model in game when it comes to size and like a wide player build. He's going to get mashed by those bigger and wider centers like the Yao Mings, the Creams, the Dikembes, the Kristopses, the D-Robs. But if you match up against some smaller centers, he can definitely, contain with like a Greg Oden and those type of centers in the game. Talking about Dark Matter Dikembe, I personally think he's a top 3 center in the game. Now, we'll talk about that more here in a second. I do personally think he's better than D-Rob and Kristaps. So let me know in the comment section down below, who do you guys think is the better center out of the 3 cards, Kristaps, D-Rob, and Dikembe? Because I know that is kind of a hot debate on Twitter and just some stuff like that in my team. Right now, people are debating between Kristaps, D-Rob, and Dikembe. For me personally, I think at the center position, not saying who's a better card or who's worth locking in for, but just as a card at the center position, I do like Dikembe a little bit more, just because of his size. His defense is elite. He's got a great player model, and I think he's got a better jump shot than D-Rob. Now, I don't think he's got a better jump shot than Kristaps, but I think overall he's going to be an S tier center. Dino, I think, is honestly A tier. There's really not too many great budget centers in the game. I'm not saying he's on the same level as a Greg Oden. Like, I think he's a bit worse than Greg Oden at the 5, but he's got some really good dribble 6. He can somewhat play defense with that 7'11" wingspan, and that's what's really going to save him at the center position, is the fact that he's got a great player model and that 8-foot wingspan. So I would say Dino's probably going to be an A tier, at least for now. This Michael Doliak card, I just don't think is that good. I'm going D tier. I really don't like this Doliak card. I mean, when I tried him out, he was not bad, but the more that I've used him in game, and I haven't really used him too much because he's just not very good, but he's just really average, and his jump shot is terrible. His SIGs are okay, but he's your center, so are you really moving with your center card? I would take Boban personally, even though Boban's got 25 speed. Evan Mobley, I think, is kind of in the same situation as Dino. Both of these cards are way better at the 4, and same thing with Jokic. I think all these cards are better at the power 4 position, but as you guys might know, if you guys have been playing my team, the center position is one of the weaker positions, and just overall not too many great budget bigs in the game. So I think you got to go Evan Mobley and Dino, still in that A tier category. Talking about the 2 D-Robs, obviously the Dark Matter is going to be an S. I do think he's a top 5 center in the game. That's the way that I personally like to do my S tiers. It's just have the top 5 at the position. So my S tier is my top 5 centers, and I can confidently say that Dark Matter D-Rob is a top 5 center. And then I think the Pink Diamond version is also in the A tier category. category. I do like him more than Chet and Jokic at the 5. I think he might even be a better center than Dino or Evan Mobley, depending on who you're matching up against and what you want out of your center. If you want a little bit more small ball, a card that's more mobile, you go for a Dino. If you want like the wider player builds, the more traditional center, you go for a D-Rob. But I think both these cards are definitely going to be in that A tier category. For me personally, I'm going Mark Eden and B tier. For me personally, I just don't like centers that can't shoot. If you guys are really good with Mark Eden and you can use an inside big where a center can't shoot, then I think Mark Eden could be in the A tier category. But for me, I think he's got to be in B tier. I just like my centers to be able to shoot. It just really helps with my spacing and my overall offense. Eddie Curry, I mean, I think he's C tier, probably. I would say C tier alongside Hakeem. I mean, he's a better card than Hakeem for sure. It's just Eddie Curry's jump shot is so bad. And I also think Joel Embiid is probably going to be in that C tier category. I mean, I could maybe move Eddie Curry up into B tier, but his jump shot is just so terrible, man. Like, he plays a so good defense. He's a great rebounder. I mean, maybe he goes B tier. I'll go B tier for now. I probably do like him more than a Jokic and a Hakeem card, but I would say he's probably low B tier. Chris Kaman, I think you got to go C. I'm not really too big of a fan of this card. Just doesn't really excel at anything necessarily, and he's a tad bit slow. I mean, if I take a look at his speed, I do believe he's a tad bit slow. Yeah, he's only got 80 speed, 80 acceleration. Jump shot is decent but not great, so I'd say overall probably somewhere in that C tier category. Walker Kessler I think is still pretty underrated at center. I would throw him in the B tier category just because of his defense and his overall presence at that center spot. He's got a really good wingspan and just player model in game. Like, he's got a 7'4" wingspan, he's 7 foot. He's got a 99 block, 95 interior defense, and jump shot really isn't that bad. He's just slow. Like, if he had higher speed, I think he'd be a lot better at the 5, but his speed really holds him back. But I still think he'll probably be in B tier. Kevin Garnett, same situation as Evan Mobley, same situation as Dino. All of these cards I do feel play better at the power forward position, but still are A tier centers in my opinion. That just shows how weak the overall center position is. So I do think KG definitely is going to be an A tier center. Talking about another elite center is going to be the dark matter Kristaps Porzingis. I think he's got to be a top 5 center. I would say he's most likely behind Dikembe or maybe Kareem. We'll talk about that here in a second. And then we also do have to talk about Marc Gasol. I mean, is it crazy to say D? I think I'll go C tier. I think he's not bad. And then Yao Ming, I mean, we all know Yao Ming is going to be an S tier, easily the best center in the game. I mean, I don't think you could even make an argument. Can you make an argument for Dikembe, D-Rob, or Kristaps? I just don't think so. I mean, yeah, Yao Ming is obviously going to be the best center in the game. Nate Thurman, I think, is solid. I think he might be better at power forward. I do want to quickly check out his speed. I don't remember if he has like crazy good speed or not. He does. So he's got 90 speed, 90 acceleration, all around really good stats except for the 63 ball, but he does have a pretty good jump shot, so he can green very consistently. So I'd say Nate Thurman probably somewhere in that B tier spot. I would say this card's maybe a little bit better than Doliak at the 5. I mean, he's only 6'10", but he's going to play good defense and have a better jump shot, so I'd probably put him in the C tier category. Olowokandi, I feel like you got to go B tier. A very underrated center still to this day. He just does his job. He plays good defense. He's got a really good player model. He grabs rebounds, and he just does everything on the court that you need your center to do. Not going to do anything too fancy, but I still feel like Olowokandi is a very decent center and deserving of that B tier category. Pau Gasol, he's going in C tier. Don't think he's that great of a card. Ryan Hollins is not that bad. I kind of look at Ryan Hollins as like another Walker Kessler type of center card. He's also 7 foot, a little bit shorter on the wingspan. Defense not going to be as good, but I think his jump shot is a little bit better. It's not a bad jump shot. I would say overall he's probably in that B tier category. I mean, maybe C. I think I'm gonna go B tier. I think if Walker Kessler's in B, I think you also got to throw Ryan Hollins in B tier. Now, this is where stuff gets really interesting, so I'm gonna leave Dark Matter Shaq till the last card. So James Wiseman on the same tier as Eddie Curry. Both have terrible jump shots, but do everything else at such a high level. And then Galaxy Yi, I think, is kind of in the same boat as Jokic. A very good offensive card, just gonna be a little bit of a liability at the on the defensive end at the center position. So now, guys, for Shaq, I don't know where to put the Shaq card. I'm really debating putting him in A tier and throwing Greg Oden into the S tier category. I think Greg Oden at the 5 might be better than Shaq, so I'm not exactly sure what to do. I kind of want to put maybe both of them in the S tier category. I don't know. I mean, Shaq, And the thing with Shaq is because he's so dominant and he does everything else at such a high level. He's 7'1" with a 7'7" wingspan. We know he's got an elite player model. You know, weighs a lot. He's got super good strength. I mean, this card's stats are just ridiculous, but only a 63 ball, and that jump shot is just so baited. I mean, he can move a little bit, which is nice. So I would say let me know in the comment section down below, where would you guys personally put Shaq on this tier list? Would you guys throw him in the S tier category? Would you guys maybe swap him for Greg Oden? Just taking into the fact that I do have my S tier as the top 5 centers in the game. I don't know. I think I'm going to keep Shaq in S tier, but I want to hear from you guys. Where would you guys put Shaq? Would you guys go A tier? Would you guys keep him in S? Or maybe would you guys even go lower than that? I think for me, I'll probably leave him in the S tier category. So these are going to be my top 5 centers, and this is kind of how I'd rank them as well. Yao Ming number 1, Dikembe number 2, Kristaps number 3, D-Rob number 4, and then Shaq number 5. Greg Oden is so close and definitely the 6th best center in the game. But let me know what you guys think about my center tier list, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.